Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah at Reed Racing. We are back for another video. In this video, we're actually going to start putting the motor together finally. I know I've released a lot of videos lately. I had to kind of run around and get parts to put the motor all together and stuff like that. So basically I have all the videos from putting the motor together, so I'm going to get those out hopefully here all within the next week or so. And then we'll kind of see where we're going to go from there. We don't have too much left on the car. Might do some iRacing stuff, so if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments below. If you guys have any other ideas, I'm still coming up with some ideas, so I'll have some just in case nobody does. But if you guys have any ideas, definitely let me know in the comments below. As always, if you guys enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you learn anything, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you can keep following along, learn more. We're going to have a lot of racing coming up as soon as we get going, as soon as everybody gets going pretty much. And with that, we're going to get started with our video. First, I'm going to kind of just talk about the block. It was actually a motor that I bought basically that was stock, and I took it all apart, took the block down to Mid-State Machine down in Des Moines. They did basically bore and hone, line hone, all the stuff you do to them, new cam bearings, freeze plugs, stuff like that. So they cleaned it all up for me. That was probably towards the beginning of last year, so I've just been keeping it covered up since then, because I knew it was all good and would pull it out when needed. And now we're going to use it, so we're going to start file fit testing the rings for file fit and see where they're at. When you get rings, there are two types. You have standard fit, which you don't have to file, and then you have file fit rings, which you basically you file down to the sizes you want. It takes a lot more effort, but a lot more effort and time with file fit rings, but it allows you to get a better fit than just out of the box, put it together and put it in kind of thing. So if you don't know whether your rings are file fit, basically there's a little pamphlet that comes with it. If you open it up, it doesn't say anything about gapping them or anything like that, then you're good to go. If it does, like this, tells you the top ring, you take the, depending on your application here, you take your bore times a certain number, and that'll give you what gap you want. Now for mine, circle track, bore times 0.005, 5 thousandths, and then that'll give you what you need. So my bore in this motor is 355, so it's 4.030 times that 0.005 gives you about 20 thousandths. So for the second ring, it's 6 thousandths. So when you multiply the bore times 6 thousandths, you get about 24 thousandths. So my top ring will gap to 20 thousandths. My second ring will gap to 24, and then the oil ring's a minimum of 15 thousandths. Usually those are pretty close. You don't usually have to file those. I don't think I had to file them last time, so hopefully I don't have to file them this time, because that's kind of 3 rings in one, so it takes a lot longer if you have to do those. And I'll show you this when I'm putting one of the pistons together, and then I'll probably fast forward through the rest of them. But you offset your ring gaps when you're putting them together, and it'll be easier to explain when I'm doing it. But the reason for doing that is so that you don't have all of your gaps on one side, and basically you don't have very good compression if you do that. So you want to make sure it's gapped appropriately and make sure that your gaps are all offset so that you're not losing compression. So now how we check these rings to see where they're at just coming out of the box. You're basically checking that gap there between the end of it, but you're going to put the ring in there, and then you're just going to take the piston and push it partway down the cylinder. Which this is actually tight enough that I can't even push it, so we're going to have to grind it down just a little bit first. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to file, this is pulled back out now, so there's a gap there, but we're going to file one of the ends of this ring so that it fits in there better and get the gap we want. So that's really all the gap that you need in these. It's better to be a little over on the gap than under, because as they get hot, they expand just a little bit. Without that room to expand, it's going to bind up and seize up on you. So it's better to be just a little bit big than a little bit small. They recommend 20 thousandths on these. Mine's probably 23 on this one, so it's a little big but not too much. So we're going to keep doing that for the rest of these, get them all set, and then we can start assembling the pistons and putting the crank in and stuff like that. So we got all the rings filed down. We got Donna over there making sure the rods are in the right direction. Losing more clips. Nope. Found that one? Yep. And how these work is you have, I got these mixed up. So you have these, I even got 3 of those. You got these 2 really thin rings, and this ring here make up your oil ring. Basically, it's one of the thin rings, then the corrugated ring, then the other thin ring, and they're going to go in that bottom groove. And then you have the middle ring. I don't know if you can see the mark on there, but there's a little M on there for the middle, and then it also says top on each one of these, the middle and the top ring. Like this one says C top. I don't know if you can see that, but a lot of rings will also have a little dot on one side if they're directional. Not all rings are directional, but some of them are. So that's how you tell what side goes up. But then you have your middle ring goes in the middle groove, and your top ring goes in the top groove. And when you're doing these, you want to make sure to offset them. So if you don't, basically they all have these little gaps. Well, if you have all the gaps lined up, there's a place for all the gases and oil to get through. So you want to make sure they're offset. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Did you lose that one?
Yeah. Well, this thing's probably shot out of there on the other ones.
I base it kind of on where the wrist pin is and the direction it goes. So one of the bottom rings will be perpendicular to the wrist pin. The other 2 will be offset, and then these will be along with the wrist pin. And the reason I do that is that makes sure that it's not, the gap is on the top ring is either not at the top or not at the bottom. The reason for that is if it's on the bottom, it allows oil to come through and drain back, and then you got a dry cylinder when you go to start it up. I'm gonna put those together, and you guys can, I'm gonna do this one and let you guys watch, and then I'll fast forward through the rest of them. These oil rings don't have a top or bottom. The other 2 do. Basically, you're just setting it in there. This first ring I'm gonna put perpendicular to the wrist pin. The next one's going to be 120 degrees away from that. Sometimes you have to put these all in at the same time because of the gap. Okay, now I got those lined up. So there's the gap for the top ring, right there on the piston. There's the gap for the middle ring, and here's the gap for the bottom. So they're offset 60 degrees from each other. And the middle ring, that one's the top ring. Which side's top? That side's the top. So we're just going to set that off to one of the sides, parallel with the wrist pin. Set one side in, and then when you bring it around, it should set the other side in. And then wherever that one is, we're going to go 180 degrees for the top. Make sure we got the top side of the ring, either the dot or where it says top, facing up. Set one side in, and then just kind of work it around. That one's, now that one can be put into the motor when we're ready. So you guys know, put the middle one in first. The middle oil ring, not the middle ring. I've done 2. There's 1 left after this. So I'm going to try and keep the videos to decent length, and with going into detail it's going to kind of go slow, so I'll have more videos for the same amount of content kind of thing, but it'll be more in detail. So we're going to end the video for today here. So if you guys learn anything, or you want to follow along, see if you learn anything while I'm building the motor, or you want to follow along as we're racing this summer, once we finally get to go racing, then make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to check out all our partner links down below, as well as I included a link for the Kennebec Racing page. Donovan and Rosa were the ones helping put the rings on the pistons, so make sure to check them out as well. Give them a like while you're there. Also, if I can find them, I'll leave a link to the parts that I'm using, or I'll leave a link to the manufacturer's website. That way you guys can check out the products that I'm using, as well as potentially find the ones you need. So with that, we're going to end the video for today, and we'll see you in the next one.